All right, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Cut the Shit, Get Fit. I'm your lovely host, Rafał Matuszewski, and today is a special episode because I am going to try to get back into the habit of filming my episodes. So I'm going to start updating my YouTube quite a bit and make a push on there. So all my listeners right now, I am currently looking at my phone filming this podcast. So for those that want to see my beautiful face and the background of my house, feel free to hit up on my YouTube channel and watch what I do behind the scenes. And the funny thing is sometimes I fuck up. Sometimes I mumble 6 words into one, and I literally have to stop the recording, redo it. So I'm really curious to see how this episode goes, and if that happens, I might as well just keep it raw as it is. So bear with me. I realized last episode when I did a solo one, I did not do any shout outs, and I apologize because all the cities that listen to my show, I don't know, at least for me, I would kind of look forward to that. And anyway, here we go. Number 1, shout out to Austin, Texas. That is super cool that people in Texas are listening to my show. Thank you so much. Next one, all the way in the UK, a city of Morpeth. Hopefully I did not butcher that one. Shout out to everyone in the UK listening to my show. It is super humbling to think that people across the way are listening to my little podcast out here in Canada. So thank you. And the next one is a city out in West Jordan, Utah. Shout out to everyone in Utah listening to my show. Super cool. Thank you. I am so humbled and touched for so many people listening to my show. So today's topic that I'm going to try to keep under 10 minutes is the topic of gratitude. So for the longest time, I've been hearing people chat about this idea of gratitude, and I just never really understood it until, I don't know if people are like me, but I have this thing where if I say take a shower without any music playing, or walk my dog and it's complete silence, my brain starts really going. And I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he always talks about gratitude. And I think as an individual, I've always practiced it without actually knowing. So I come from an immigrant background where a lot of my childhood, teenage years, I just never had a lot. And anytime I got something that I really wanted, I was so happy and appreciative for that thing, that experience, or what it was. Like in a good example where, because I trained some pretty successful people that are really well off, and when I tell them that I've never been to Disneyland in my life, they're like, oh my God, like how do you live, right? Because for those people that are privileged, going to Disneyland is like a yearly thing. And growing up, like, my parents never had money to do vacations like that. But, going on a vacation like camping, for example, it's a cheaper option. I was super appreciative for that experience. So when I started my business and started making some money, and I was able to, for example, go to Mexico or take my wife to Jamaica for our honeymoon, like those experiences I hold so dear in my heart. And being able to have that opportunity, I'm like, holy fuck, there's people out there that would never experience this. I am so lucky. So gratitude, how am I going to tie this in to fitness and health? Really simply. A lot of times when people, I move my hands a lot when I talk. For those listening and not watching this video, if you watch this video, I use my hands a lot when I'm explaining, and I can only imagine how I talk to patients and clients in person when I do this. Anyway, gratitude. So many people, when they start their fitness and health journey, they don't show appreciation or their gratitude for how far they have come. A lot of times people make the mistake of, thinking, oh, I'm not at my goal weight, so everything I've done doesn't really matter. They have this idea in their head that they have to look this certain way because that's what they imagined. They have this number or inches of a number where they want to be, and everything leading up to that moment that they haven't reached yet doesn't mean shit. But imagine that, this past year that you've been really focusing on your health, you took the time to, appreciate what you've done. And I tell this to clients all the time. When they're feeling down and feel like they haven't achieved anything because the scale's not going the right way, or they just don't feel like they changed, and physically you've seen them change, something that I bring up is like, hey, Scott, last year when you started with me, you never exercised in your life. Now, you are exercising 3 days a week consistently. That's never happened in your life. That is huge. And if I can make that mindset shift where they're like, holy shit, yeah, you know what? I've been training 3 days a week for a year straight. That is huge. Celebrate that. Like, make those little things, those small victories, a big deal. And you'll be able to keep that kind of motivation, that momentum going. People don't take the time to look at the little things, and really appreciate it. Things like, hey, Scott, a year ago, you used to sleep 4 hours a night. Now you're averaging 7, and you have more energy. And then he goes, oh shit, yeah, you're right. You have to constantly remind yourself of your process and be thankful for your success that you've actually did it. Because what happens is when you keep thinking that way, and you know that every day you've done at least one thing, for example, to improve your health, that goes a long way. Gratitude is, so my birthday post, so many people enjoyed that because it was, things I've learned in life really quickly. And if you heard my podcast, sorry, it's gonna get loud because there's people outside mowing the grass. This is real. When you look at building yourself as an individual, as a human being, to improve your personal development, that goes hand in hand with anything you want to achieve in life. Being able to understand gratitude, to be self-aware enough to realize how much you've achieved, even though you didn't get to your end goal, because most people's end goals are, astronomical of what they expect. Because usually when people have a weight loss goal, they want to look like someone on a cover of a magazine, and realistically, it's like you need to give up your entire life to look that way. So now you have this unrealistic expectation, and everything you've been doing consistently, that's like a huge accomplishment for most people, you're like, meh, it's nothing. Learning gratitude and being self-aware enough to understand what you've achieved so far is an amazing feat that most people will never get to, is going to change a lot of things in your life. If you are listening to this and you start thinking of like, okay, what have I achieved this past year that I haven't been doing previously to improve my health? That list is probably going to be pretty long. Even if you failed 1 billion times trying so many different fucking diets out there, you're still going the right direction because that means you are dedicated to improving your health. Compared to the person who's tried one diet, didn't work, they're like, man, nothing's gonna work for me, I'm just gonna be fat for the rest of my life. No, the people who go on yo-yo diets are the ones that are so determined to finally find an answer to improve their health. It's just they haven't figured that out yet, and they quit too early. You know, sometimes it's just like one little step further, and you hit that wall down, and you're running. You're full-blown sprint, and you finally figured it out. So many people quit way too early. You know, like, I'm a huge fan of rap music, and you know, when you follow these rappers that are trying to make a name for themselves, they're like one song away from being the next big hit. You know, so if you are into rap music, that band Migos and Quavo, like those guys, they've been around forever. And it took one song for them to blow up everywhere, to the point where they're on every single top 40 radio show, which is crazy to think. But if you looked at them 5 years ago, nobody knew who they were. But they were hustling, working day and night, producing music that no one would listen to until they had one song that was the tipping point. And if you look at their careers, it just like skyrocketed. That example can play into what I'm saying right now. People quit too early. Keep trying. Keep trying. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Doesn't work? Try something else. Keep trying. And be grateful that you have the opportunity to keep trying. Because some people can't. You know, sometimes people have, you know, a medical disease that prevents them doing what you're able to do. Imagine if you had an injury, a reoccurring injury, that prevents you from exercising, and all you have is food. And even then, sometimes that can be a struggle if you're injured. Like, be grateful for the ability that you have. That's gonna change a lot. It might sound woo-woo or whatever, but weight loss, there's a bigger picture. It's more than inches and pounds. It's you as an individual. You need to grow as a person. And when you grow as a person, a lot of things in life are going to improve, you know, personally, fitness and health, financially, your spouse, finding your spouse, like all those things are interconnected together. I'm gonna leave it right there because I could keep going. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm gonna post the video first on my YouTube. This episode's gonna come out in a couple weeks. But thank you for listening and watching. You guys are amazing. My book is gonna be coming out really soon. I'm so excited we figured it out. Keep your eyes and ears peeled and open because I'm gonna be releasing a date, a launch date. If your name is already on the pre-sale list, put it down now. Actually, never mind. I totally fucked that up. If your name's on the pre-sale list, you're gonna get an email like the moment my book is ready to go and able to purchase. If your name is not on the pre-sale list, hit the show notes in this episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm gonna put a link in the freaking description to put your name down for the pre-sale list so you can get the email as well. For those who've been waiting patiently, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sorry for the wait, but it's gonna be well worth it. It's gonna be amazing. Ironclad Body Training System's about to launch, drop. It's gonna be amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening and supporting me and the show. Share this podcast with your friends and family, and I'll be forever, forever grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. You guys are amazing.